Good evening. Welcome to tonight's video. Tonight I will be reading part 5 of I Work for an Interdimensional Organization, written by Nasa the Dancer, or also known as Pimp Demon. I am going to do my best to get back into this, but as stated before, no promises. That said, I do hope you enjoy tonight's video. Here is part 5.
Nah, come on, James. The knight, would be, a pretty good hunter for the organization and, stuff. Kyle told me after I said to him that asking the knight to join us was a stupid idea. That might be true, but you're forgetting he is a prisoner in the most secure prison. We can't just take him. Besides, how the hell are you going to get close to him? I asked as I looked at where I assumed Zeus and the knight were fighting. I say assume because just as I had watched earlier, I could only see the craters being created from their fight. They were just moving too fast, and if I had to guess, perhaps as fast as the fastest fighter jet, or maybe even faster than that. Yeah, James, no. I can't just, take him. We gotta do it properly. Kyle responded in a very calm manner, which, to be honest, I did not expect. I've been told Kyle hates being told what to do when it comes to how to recruit new members. Heck, I remember when he tried to recruit me, he wanted me to fight a werewolf barehanded. Luckily for me, Cerberus put a stop to that, who is also the werewolf he wanted me to fight, and she's not a normal werewolf, she's like a super alpha werewolf on steroids. Excuse me, but what? I asked as I stared at Kyle with the slightly raised eyebrow. You're the guy who is known for trying to recruit entities in the craziest or stupidest ways. Wants to do it by the book? Yeah, I don't believe it. Look, James, know I'm not the smartest cookie in the jar, but even I'm not dumb enough to provoke another organization on the same level as us, Kyle said with a shrug as he looked towards where Zeus and the knight were fighting. Damn, I can't see shit. Hey yo, James, can you see anything? I did not expect you to be so reasonable with all this stuff. It's quite a surprise, I told him with a chuckle, as I found Kyle being reasonable, at least to this extent, amusing. Yeah, whatever, just answer my question, Kyle said. You think I could see them if you couldn't? I asked him. Well, maybe not with your normal perception, but what about your cybernetics? He spoke. I thought for a moment, trying to figure out if I could see them or not. I'm not sure, but let me see, I said as my eyes glowed for a moment, and things around me started to move slower. This definitely helped me see the night much better, but Zeus was still hard to see. Although there was one thing I noticed about Zeus. He was holding a spear. I first thought he had put his restraints back on, but that couldn't be the case. He was still moving at incredible speeds. So perhaps this was a different kind of spear. As for how the fight went, well, it went something like this. Zeus thrust his spear into the knight's chest plate, cracking it slightly from the pressure. The knight formed his weapon into a morning star and swung it at Zeus, who tried to block it while his wrist guards, unfortunately, they shattered upon impact with the morning star. Thankfully, they did manage to stop it from piercing his skin. Zeus looked at his broken wrist guards, which were on the ground in pieces, for a moment, before he jumped into the air and swung at the knight, who tried to move out of the way, but wasn't fully fast enough. Zeus's fist hit the knight's left antler, cracking it in two. The knight roared in pain and changed its weapon into a hammer. Then he swung into Zeus, who was sent flying several miles away, into several boulders and trees. I could hear Zeus's ribs cracking as the hammer hit down. When Zeus finally stopped, which took about a minute, he was planted deep into a massive boulder. Zeus staggered forward while raising his hand towards the knight. The next thing I knew, there was a bright flash of light followed by the sound of thunder, and the knight roaring in pain for a second time. I looked towards the knight who was missing an eye. Whatever had hit it destroyed its eye. I'm assuming it was a bolt of lightning due to the incredible speed and sound. That would explain why it was only a flash of light for me even with my cybernetic perception. Despite being in pain, the knight let out a booming laugh before they spoke.
Now, this is the kind of fight I've been looking for. I have not felt pain like this in quite some time. I hope that wasn't your full strength, O great warrior, because I'm only getting started.
The knight then changed his weapon back to its incredibly large greatsword, while it wore the armor of a Viking. It then stood in a battle stance. I could swear I could feel an incredible pressure coming from the knight. It then disappeared, and the next thing I knew, I felt the earth shaking and heard the sounds of weapons hitting each other. I looked towards Zeus, and standing right in front of him was the knight. How the hell did it move that fast? I could not even perceive it, even with everything moving 50 times slower for me. His strength and speed are insane. Even with his restraints gone, I don't think Zeus can win, I said with a shaken voice.
Do not worry, James. Zeus may have taken his restraints off, but that does not mean he has been using all his power. And even if that's not enough, he has one trump card up his sleeve, but let us hope he won't need to use it, Dracula said as he closed his book. I wasn't entirely sure if I believed Dracula, but he was right, because the moment I thought that I heard something hitting the ground behind me, which was followed by something piercing through flesh and the sound of loud, excited clicking, I turned around to see what had happened. What I saw was a colossal-sized crater, which, if it had been slightly bigger, I might have fallen into, and into the center of it was the knight laying there. On top of him was Zeus, who had his spear piercing deep into the knight's chest.
Yes, this is truly what I wanted. After centuries of being imprisoned in that god-forsaken place, I finally get the chance to fight someone who can not only keep up with me at my full strength, but can even harm me. You are truly a worthy opponent,
It said as it pulled the spear out of its chest, throwing it and Zeus away before it stood up. Not even its antlers reached halfway up to the top of the crater. It then looked at Zeus, who was holding his arm towards the knight with his palm open. His hand was glowing brightly while the rest of his body was barely glowing.
Well, looks like he's doing like his trump card. I guess that's the end of the night.
The moment Kyle finished speaking, a large blast of energy fired out of Zeus's hand. The look on the knight's face turned from that of excitement to that of fear. It formed its weapon into a massive shield, trying to block the blast, which it managed to do for about 5 seconds. But after that, it shattered into millions of pieces, and the blast engulfed the knight while also traveling several tens of miles away, destroying everything. Not even the mountains far away were safe from the blast. If this blast was fired from above, it probably could have destroyed several large cities like New York, then blasted. The blast then disappeared after what must have been around 30 seconds, which was followed by Zeus slowly climbing out of the massive crater and dropping to the ground right in front of us. Zeus, are you alright? As a response to my question, Zeus, with the strength he had left, lifted his right hand and gave me a thumbs up as if to say, "Don't worry, James. I am alright." Of course, I knew he wasn't really alright, but there wasn't anything I could do to help. From what I know, the only way for Zeus to heal is to let him rest and recover the energy he lost.
Well, I guess that is it. Man, that was an insane fight, which I couldn't see at all. Hey James, you should write all this down so I can read it, Kyle said.
You really think I should? Maybe I will, but you do know even I wasn't able to see everything, right? I asked him.
Well, yeah, I know that. Just ask Zeus about the crazy stuff that happened, and don't worry, I'll have someone translate everything for you since you can't read minds,
Kyle replied as he finished typing something on his phone.
You two can talk about this later. Kyle, have you told him the job is done?
Dracula asked, And as a response to his question, a portal opened up far bigger than the one before, and out of it came a platoon of soldiers. These were different than those before. They wore more advanced power armor.
God damn, they really took that thing down. That is just insane,
One of the soldiers said with a deep Texan accent. You think that's insane? Well, take a look there. Another soldier from the left of the first soldier said, as she pointed at a large piece of metal. This one, with a more feminine voice and a New York accent, said, You see that piece of metal there? And well, everywhere? Well, I'm pretty sure those are from the knight's weapons and its great shield form.
What? There's no way they shattered that thing. I mean, we couldn't even scratch it with a railgun cannon, which fired a massive tungsten round that had the same force as a 75 megaton nuclear bomb,
the first soldier said. Well, the proof is right here. I don't know what else to tell you. The second soldier replied as a large, bulky reptile creature whose armor was a lot bigger due to its frame grabbed both of the soldiers and dragged them toward the portal, which currently had half the knight's body inside it. Both of the soldiers looked like they wanted to say something but decided not to.
Well, that's that anyway. Let's go grab some food,
Kyle said as he activated his watch, and the only thing I could think was, I really hope I won't get separated again.
Interesting. The finality to the knight versus the great god Zeus. What a battle. I didn't even have an idea of what his trump card could be. But that was fascinating. It was almost like a Zero from Bleach. A reference that you might not understand. Anyway, thank you for watching tonight's video. I do hope you enjoyed what you listened to. And I do wish to give a huge thank you to Pimp Demon and Lycan Trucker, both who are patrons on my Patreon, which I will leave the link in the description below. Thank you very much, and I do wish you a fantastic rest of your day, night, evening, afternoon, morning, whatever day or time of day it might be for you. And do remember, there's so much we've yet to understand in this world.